Take Two podcast brought to you by Beyond Hollywood International Film Festival. I'm your host, Madge.
And I'm your host, Veronica.
And we are here with a special guest today. This young lady is talented beyond belief. She is an actress, she is a dancer, she is a host.
She does it all.
She does it all. When I say all, I mean all. I mean, just look at the fit. I mean, it's just... It's just drippy all around.
Drippy.
The talented, the beautiful Shanae Cole is in the building.
Hey y'all, hey.
How are you, Miss Shanae Cole? How you doing?
I'm blessed to be in both of you guys' presence. Beyond Take Two.
Hey.
Beyond Take Two. Hey.
We appreciate that love.
Catchy song.
I think you can find that on iTunes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think it probably is on iTunes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's on Instagram. And
Oh,
it's on
nice.
Yeah, you can use it. Yeah, you can use it for a sound and everything.
Yeah.
Original audio, I'll do that for sure.
Please do. But first, before we get started with Miss Cole, we have our buttered up segment.
Woo! Buttered up.
What we got today? We got Smart Foods kettle corn.
Okay, let me shake it up. Shake it up for Shanae, because you're going to try it first.
Alrighty.
How is the taste?
Mm.
What do you rate it?
Salty, sweet. I'll give it a 9.5.
A 9.5? Okay.
Keep these same ratings. I've tried it already. It is good.
This is nice. It's not too sweet. I'm going to give it a 9. I'm going to go with Shanae.
Okay.
She did 9.5. I'm going to give it a 9.
Okay.
Bomb.
We have to repeat this. I can't believe it. It is good, everybody.
Yeah. Let me drink some.
If you're at home, you got something at home, it is good. I'm going to give it a 6.
You are so hard.
It is tasty, but
Just a 6?
just a 6.
It's salty and sweet. It's like,
If it's tasty, it should be a 7 at least.
yeah, at least a 7, 7.5,
6.5.
6.4.
No, I said 6.5.
You need to bring your popcorn.
I will. I'm going to bring some Garrett's and some Bertos for y'all.
I'm gonna have to try
I
that.
just got to fundraise to get it first because it's so expensive.
Popcorn that expensive?
Oh, my God.
Really?
It's got $1 billion popcorn. It's got, like, some salt from, like, the Red Sea or some shit. And, like,
What?
yeah, it's crazy. It's delicious, though. It is crazy. But
Yeah.
Smart food.
Shout
About to
out.
call you Superfood. Smart food. Nice popcorn. Send us some more, please.
Yes.
Miss Cole. Tell us a little bit about your story. Where are you from? How'd you
Yes.
get to this position? How did it all start?
Yeah. So I'm originally from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. A lot of people go there for the outlets. It's also a great place to raise a family. And honestly, I'm so grateful to come from that area because it built the foundation of my twin and I's entertainment background. And it was also just a great place to grow up, you know?
Okay.
Wow.
And then after that, I went to college in Maryland, University of Maryland, Baltimore County,
Dope.
where I studied media communications with a minor in dance.
Wow.
And then during that time, I was a part of an LA Study Away program where I was out here for a semester.
Awesome.
And prior to that, Shanice and I were like, Shanice, my twin.
Yeah.
We were like, yeah, we're going to go to New York after we graduate. And then coming out here for a semester, it was like, oh no, LA is where it's at. Like,
Right.
this is home for us.
Oh.
And so afterwards, I was like, I have to do everything I can to ensure that I have a job lined up after, I graduate.
Right.
And so at the time, I was interning at Fox 45 in CW, Baltimore.
Nice.
And, I was submitting to get a job at Warner Brothers because that was like one of my goals.
Right.
And probably by March, I still hadn't heard anything. I'm just like, dang, am I going to have a job, by the time I graduate?
Right.
And then randomly, my boss was like, hey, Shanae, what do you want to do after you graduate? And I was like, honestly, I've been trying to get a job at Warner Brothers. And he was like, oh, my best friend works there. Just send me your
What
resume
a
and I'll
trip.
pass it over.
Dope,
And I was like,
dope.
wow, because I would have never thought being in Baltimore, interning at that station, who would have
Right.
thought that there would be a LA connection, let alone a Warner Brothers connection, you know?
Exactly.
And so next day I get an email from someone at Warner Brothers and he was like, when's the next time you're coming out to LA? And I was like, we'll be there for spring break. And then he was like, I would love to meet up with you for 30 minutes, just to, see your interests and stuff like that.
Nice.
And what started off to be 30 minutes ended up being 4 hours.
Wow.
Because he just was so he was so grateful that I was so enthusiastic and knew so much about Warner Brothers.
Right.
And so, like, he gave me a studio tour, stuff like that. And I was just like, wow, like, I love being on this lot. I have to make sure that I keep in contact with him in case anything comes up.
Right.
And so for 2 weeks after that, like, every 2 weeks, I would check in. Hey, how you doing? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then 2 weeks, I think it was 2 weeks before graduation, he reached out saying that there was 2 positions that opened up, and went for both of those positions. And 3 days before I graduated, I got the job.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, like, you know, it's crazy how at the very last second you think that you're not going to have something and God shows up, you know?
Right.
And so, me working at Warner Brothers for like 3 months was like my first like industry job out here. And then after that, I ended up working at Variety Magazine.
Nice.
And, you know, honestly, like, I have always been a writer. Like, I wrote for, like, high school and for college. And even though I was grateful to be at Variety, I realized very quickly, like, maybe entertainment journalism is not my thing, you know? And so then after that, I got a job at TMZ.
Wow.
And yeah. And I would have never thought that I would work at TMZ because of the reputation, especially at that time.
Right. How was that?
Honestly, I had so much fun because I was working in the control room.
Okay.
And then, so there was always a lot of action. And then the other thing that happened was we had like people come on for viewers' choice, like regular people just comment on celebrity topics. And I was in charge of finding those people. And so it went from like, initially they told me whoever adds us on Skype, put them on the show. And I just started to see like the same people adding us. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to outsource. And so I started hashtagging entertainment reporter, bloggers and stuff to give other people opportunities.
Right.
And then it just became, like, I ended up probably putting on maybe 100 to 300 people during my time there.
Wow.
You know, it was a lot of people. Like, my phone was buzzing, like, you know what I'm saying? And I loved it because I love, like, helping people in the way that I can, especially if I have an opportunity like that.
Right.
And it was just so fun. But unfortunately, I got let go. And, you know, this industry is a blessing, but also it could be very fickle.
And cutthroat, right?
Yeah. And so, like, at the time, they were merging positions. And because I had just started, like, I was 7 months in, they ended up, like, giving my position to someone else. And I was just like, it's fine.
Yeah.
And then low-key, I went into a depression because, here, you're, like, at the top.
Right.
And then all of a sudden it's taken away, And then also, like, it didn't help that people were hitting me up, oh, can I be on the show this week? And it's just like, I ain't got the juice no
just
more.
a reminder, right.
Yeah, but the blessing that came out of that, because I was working there Monday through Friday, and then on the weekends I was working at Evolution Studios, a dance studio. And that's where I met you. Yes, Veronica. And honestly, it was great. And because obviously we were able to establish a friendship, and like it was beautiful because she was working in the industry. So it was just like, wow, like, I'm happy that I can connect to her on that level. And then also just like, she's just a chill person to be around, loved her style and stuff like that. And she was just so welcoming. It wasn't like she came in and dropped off her daughter. It was kind of like we got to know each other, you know?
Exactly.
And so, I ended up working there on the weekend. And then after I got let go of TMZ, it became full time. And then after a minute, I was just like, okay, like, I want to get back into entertainment. Like, I know that this is not my end all be all working at the studio, even though I was grateful. And,
I know. I remember you were telling me that at that studio.
Yes,
I was like, you're leaving. Because I loved seeing your face. Like, once you left and I was still taking Tira to ballet, it was just not the same. Like, I just didn't. Her, she was so vibrant. Like, you brightened up the room, and I was just like.
I mean, I can imagine you definitely bring the energy, especially to a dance studio.
I think Andre brought Tira once when you were gone already. I was like, is Shanae there? And he's like, no, I don't see her. And I'm like, oh my God, like, I hope she didn't leave yet. And then I just never seen you. But then we still kept in contact, I was like, I'm still reaching out to you.
Yeah, and then after that, I wanted to, like, do award shows and stuff. And I think I might have saw you at American Idol.
Is it American Idol? It might.
I
think I worked American Idol like once or twice.
Yeah.
But World of Dance.
Yeah, I remember seeing you, and it was just nice to see her outside of the studio. You know?
Right.
But I ended up doing for 2 years. I was doing freelance like award show circuit, and I was working in post production. Loved it, and in this industry, you sometimes have like adversity.
Yeah.
Right.
And after doing certain award shows for 2 years, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna ask for a higher rate and also a higher title. And I was encouraged by the editors at the time, hey, if you keep saying yes to these positions, they're going to expect you to do this, but at this rate.
Right.
And so I was like, okay, I'm going to speak up, because also I was helping like edit packages for like, the Oscars and stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
And so, And so
Amazing.
It was a lot of fun. And so I ended up speaking up. And sometimes when you speak up, it can create change, and sometimes it can set you back.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, me speaking up, it set me back because at the time, post-production wasn't like it was a male-dominated field.
Right.
There was very few females. And like I remember talking to one assistant editor, and I was like, how long have you been an assistant editor? And she was like, 7 years. I'm like, you should be an editor at this point. She's like, yeah, but I don't want to like speak up because I would lose my position. It's like, no, you know? And so, yeah, after I spoke up, I didn't get asked to come back for anything. And I was heartbroken because I'm like, dang, I really liked, you know, it wasn't the editors. It was just like, you know, just the nature of the industry. But like the editors, like I mean, even to this day, like I'm still in contact with them, but like it was just unfortunate, you know?
Yeah.
And then I needed a job. And so I went on Staff Me Up, and it said, come help write letters for a week. And I was like, I need a job, so I'm going to do it.
Nice,
And then it was for a show called My Lottery Dream Home. And so I was writing letters straight for a week. It was like maybe 100 letters a day, and my hand was like falling off.
So what is Staff Me Up?
Staff Me Up is a website that lists tons of production jobs, like, you know, from producer, like any job, like reality shows, sitcoms, talk shows, stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, and so...
Never heard of it.
Yeah, it's a great tool. It's a great tool.
Okay.
And so... yeah, I did it. And so the whole week that I was writing letters, I was like, humility comes before honor. That's what was in my mind. And then afterwards, the line producer, she was like, hey, Shanae, like I looked over your resume like thoroughly, and I see that you were doing like AE work. We have a position open. Do you want it? And I'm like, wow, that's crazy. Because like I came in here literally just to write letters, and then here she's offering me something that I was fighting for in the last position.
Right.
I declined it because like it was like a year contract or something, and I was like, you know, at the time like Shanice and I like were in the process of getting signed to a theatrical agency,
Right?
And I was like, I don't know how it's gonna work.
Yeah.
And then maybe 2 weeks later, they said, hey, can you come out and help with casting? And I'm like, what? Because like that wasn't like my wheelhouse, you know.
Right.
And so the girl, she taught me what to do in maybe 30 minutes, and at the time, they would only book, I think, maybe 1 or 2 episodes a month.
Okay.
And the 2 weeks that I was covering for her, I booked 4 episodes.
Wow.
And they were like, what? Because, like, the show My Lottery Dream Home is about lottery winners.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like finding a needle in a haystack trying to get them on a show. Like, if you win $1 million, the last thing you want to do is be on TV.
Exactly.
Right? And so it just, it was a certain skill set that you needed to have, which clearly I didn't think I had, but clearly I did.
You did.
And so after that, they were like, we'll do whatever you want to stay. And I was like, actually, like, you know, I'm also a talent. Like, you know, am I able to still go on auditions? Yes, whatever you want.
Yeah.
You know? And
Awesome.
so, yeah, it's very rare, like, in this industry where you have, like, a full-time industry job and they allow you to do that. Because sometimes, like, when I first came out here, I tried to keep the two separate.
Yeah.
You know? And I feel like now that the pandemic happened, it kind of just opened people's eyes, and, like, people just have different streams of income.
Right.
And so, and especially, like, if you're working remotely, like, it makes it a little bit more accessible to do.
Exactly.
Right.
But yeah, so yeah, I'm still at the job. So anyway, so I did that job, and you know, I ended up getting a producer credit or a producer title now, and I'm just like, wow, like, you know, here I was aiming for this, and like now my pathway changed a little bit, but still I was able to get a higher position than what I was trying to go for in the other role.
That's how God works.
Yeah. And so, you know, I'm very, very grateful. I always say I have an honest appreciation for the job because it definitely, you know, helped me industry-wise, but also just character-wise, you know, dealing with all types of people.
Right.
And just also grateful that they honor, you know, anytime that I have an audition or book something, because again, it's very rare.
Right.
You know?
And you thinking that you're in the industry, you would think, and they would support it.
Yeah.
You know, but there's jobs where they don't. And they're just like, audition? No.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
whether you're working behind the camera or whatever the case may be. So I get it.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been fun, and you know, like I said, still there, and which I'm grateful for, and still able to do like my creative projects.
Yeah.
And
That's amazing.
Yeah, because I feel like nowadays people are like, what is it called, multi-hyphenates?
Yes.
Yeah. Because I feel like, you know, before it used to be you have to do one or the other, like be an actor, be a dancer.
Everyone's
but
doing so many things.
yeah, so many things. I feel like it's better to be well-versed instead of just like focused on one thing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
In this industry, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yes.
Well, that's the show, everybody.
So you're a twin.
I am, yes.
Identical or fraternal?
Identical, yeah. Yeah, I'm 10 minutes older than her.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I'm trying to think I mean, other than the black and blonde hair, I have 3 moles on my face. So, like, if people are like, how do I tell you apart? Other than the blonde and black, I had 3 moles. Yeah.
Wow.
And when I was younger, I used to say it's in an L shape because I'm left-handed. I'm really not. But yeah, that's what I used to say. Yeah.
So you tell everybody you're left-handed, but you're not a left-handed?
Yeah. I'm not. I'm really not.
Oh, my
I never hold anything in my left hand anyway.
That's hilarious. I love you, Shanae.
So I forgot to ask you, when did you come out here? The year that you
we
first
came
started?
out in 2013.
2013. Okay, so you 10 years in the game.
Yeah, it's about to be 10 years. Yeah. Yeah, I'm a LA native at this point.
Dope.
It flies by though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So, is your sister? She's in the same.
Yeah. She's it's so funny because like we're twins, but our paths are completely different. Aside from the talent stuff, like we're parallel with that. But like in terms of industry careers, like she had a straight path where I'm like. I'm grateful for it because it helped me become the person that I am today.
Right.
But yeah, like her track was talk shows. So she's been doing talk shows ever since she came out here. Like she's at Access Hollywood right now. She's a producer there. And but like the thing that we come together for is the talent stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember seeing your sister on the Steve Harvey show when I was working
you were
at Universal.
on there. Yeah.
So like I saw her sister and then she's just like, oh my gosh, hey, I'm gonna need you for a segment. And I'm like, she's like, well, your daughter. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, so it was cool how we crossed paths. And then like she reached out to me and she was, she wanted Tiara on, it was like a Burlington segment or something like that.
And your
for
whole
Steve
family
Harvey.
was on there, right?
The whole family wasn't on that one. She reached out to me again. And so Tiara was on that for Burlington for Steve Harvey. It was like a Christmas segment. And then she reached out to me and the family to be on Access Hollywood. Yeah. It was like a little fashion segment for fall. Yeah, it was cool. Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah. Here,
I'm not sick. But yes, so, that was for, it was like a Western theme, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Western
I remember
theme,
that. Yeah, I think I was watching that in real time. You did an
Andre
excellent job.
hates it. He's like, what's wrong with my hair?
Did you guys keep the clothes?
Tiara got to keep like a few things, but we didn't. The adults didn't. And then I think Kai got to keep like the shirt or something like that. Yeah. So it was nice. It was fun.
Dope. So tell us how's your dance career going? Because I see on your IG, I saw the Hammer video. I'm like, oh, these girls can go. Like,
I've always like enjoyed dancing. I was inspired by Michael Jackson and Janet Jackson. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, so when we came out here, we got signed to a dance agency immediately.
Okay.
And it was Go To Talent. And like I thought we were going to, like, as soon as we came out here, oh yeah, we're going to make it, we're going to be talent.
Yeah.
No, it didn't. God was like, no.
Right.
And so our path was different because like I'm grateful for it now, but we thought we were going to be like backup dancing for people, and we just never had those types of auditions. Like any dance related audition we've had, it was like for commercials or like for music videos, which I was fine with, you know, because it's like if we were supposed to be dancing behind someone, it would have already happened.
Right.
But clearly God had a different path for us in terms of dance, and then also like we incorporate dance in our videos, and so like during the pandemic, I mean I've always had a desire to pay homage to hip hop artists because like our papa was a DJ, and so we were always immersed in like hip hop, old school hip hop culture.
Yeah.
And so when the pandemic happened, it was like, okay, everything is shut down. Like we have all this free time to be even more creative. Let's recreate these mini music videos for TikTok.
Dope.
And so like we started doing that, and it just kind of like exploded.
Yeah.
And so it was like here, even though the studios were shut down, we're still incorporating dance in our content. You know.
Right.
But yeah, so like I mean, we were doing that. I mean, we're still kind of signed with them, but like it's not like a desire for us to continue to do that. We would rather incorporate dance in our own projects, or like even if it's an acting role, having dance in it, that's a blessing.
Right.
But yeah, like our pursuit of trying to be on tour or something like that, it kind of fizzled out.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
But yeah, and then also like our mindset has changed because like we've always wanted to have our own show out here, and like it was a bonus for us to be dancers, and it was kind of like, okay, like that's how we started.
Right.
But then once we got the theatrical agency, it was like, okay, go time, and even that, like, it took a while for us. Like, I think I was submitting for a straight year for a theatrical agency.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And then I reached out to one like 3 times because I was like, they're a boutique agency, it's better to go boutique.
Yes.
And then finally after the 3rd time, like, yeah, we'll meet with you. And then like after the meeting, like, we're going to sign you guys.
Yeah.
And and it ironically, like when we got signed, then the pandemic happened.
You're right.
But like her name is Rebecca X. She's just so lovely. Like she just sends us out all the time, and it's always things that complement who we are. Like things that we're already watching. It's nothing questionable, and I like that because some people just want to send you out to whatever, and it's just like no, like it has to make sense.
She understands you.
Yeah.
She respects you.
Yeah.
So, what you say you guys want to do your own show? What kind of show do you guys want to produce?
Yeah. So, honestly, we've been inspired by like Mary Kay and Ashley, Tia and Tamara, and I feel like right now, knock on wood, there isn't like a twin show, and so we want to be able to like fill that before another set of twins do. And so, yeah, like just a sitcom loosely based off of our life, because like there's been, it's never a dull moment with Shanice and I.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's always been like a desire of ours. But, in due time, it will happen.
Yeah.
I really believe it. But I feel like, even because when we first came out here, we did pitch to Disney Channel, like an original movie.
Oh.
Like we went into the office, we waited for 2 hours. And unfortunately, the girl was like, yeah, you guys are just two wannabe actors with no credits.
What?
And I think it might have happened when we were here for spring break.
Yeah.
So we were still in college. And that kind of just lit a fire in us. Like, you know what? We're going to make sure we work in every facet of the industry so we have credits. So the next time we pitch, we have credibility.
Right.
And so, like, even now, like, we have been pitching. And it's like, we, like, with years experience and stuff like that, like, we're seeing more credible.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so, yeah, it was crazy. Yeah. I don't know why I brought that up. I did.
Wow. So, like, when were you, like, what made you want to start getting into acting?
Honestly, I would say like watching Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Martin is funny. Obviously, Tia and Tamara.
Yeah.
And also like Mary Kay and Ashley, like the fact that they were able to build an empire of just their own content, like I feel like they were essentially the first content creators because they had their own movies, they had their own TV shows. It was kind of like it was just their own thing, you know?
Yeah.
And so we really liked that. And then also like the Wayans brothers, like I feel like maybe they weren't getting cast in certain things, so they kind of just built their own empire, just making their own stuff, and I like that.
Created their own.
Yeah. I like that they have more creative control,
right?
And so like that's like where Shanice and I want to be, because like yes, we're grateful like to be auditioning for different shows, but ultimately like we want to be able to like build like an empire, like Mary Kay and Ashley, like even Issa Rae, like those people, even Adam Sandler, because I feel like he, like those people are so great.
Yeah, yeah,
that's dope. So.
Love it.
Do you guys have your own production company?
Oh, what a great question.
Yeah, like because I know a lot of people are doing more independent stuff. So it's like, if you want your own show, like create your own show.
Yeah, that's true.
But you need the resources, obviously. So do you guys have your own production company, or how's like the whole process going with that?
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of progress in the last year. I feel like when we came out here, we had a lot of I'm trying to have choice words with this. People that we were working with, they didn't have the right motives with us.
Right.
And so we had, like, we gave, like, certain ideas to certain people, and they kind of just ran with it and then just left us in the dust. And we're just like, dang, like, here we really thought that they were going to help us. And so, this time around, we are working with a production company, and it's like they want to see us win. It's not like they have ulterior motives, like we're going to do this and then we're going to take your idea and then use it and then and so like I'm grateful for everything that we've gone through, because it's like now we know how to move in this industry. Right. We're not going to be telling our whole life story to somebody for them to like take our idea, because people do that,
Right.
And so
it's hard to trust.
Yeah. And so so that's what we're doing right now, working with a production company, and just like, obviously we're still like working our full-time jobs, and when the time is right, we'll be able to like close this chapter and then move forward, like creating, like, producing our own show and starring in it, because that's the other thing too, is it's like we also want to be in front of the camera too.
Right.
But so it's kind of like we're enjoying the journey.
Indeed. Indeed.
So speaking about being in front of the camera,
that's a great segue.
Tell us about that role that you got in Grownish.
Yeah, you know what? It was I have been trying to, I've wanted to be on that show since it came out, and then I had an audition for it maybe 2 years ago. And I thought for sure I was going to get it. Yeah. I clearly didn't get it. It was for a recurring role. And I was kind of heartbroken. I'm like, I'm this close. Like, that I wanted to be on the show. But, and then 2 years later, I get another audition for it. And when I got the first one, I was like, I need to book this. Otherwise, I can't do anything else. It's kind of like an end-all, be-all situation. Like,
life or death situation.
Yeah, I need this, And so when I got the audition, at this point, it was in May of last year. This time around, I was like, oh, wow, this would be fun. Like, if it's in God's will, I'll get it. If not, cool.
Yeah.
My mindset had shifted.
Yes.
And, I ended up forgetting about it. And then it was, I think Shanice and I were seeing Doctor Strange, The Multiverse of Madness.
Okay. Yeah.
And then we walk out of that movie, and then I had, like, 9 missed calls from my agent. She was like, Shanae, you booked Grownish? And I was like, oh, wow. And my reaction wasn't what I thought it was going to be, because, like, I always prayed, like, I want my first role to be a life-changing role.
Right.
And, like, a series regular role. Yeah. And so when I got home, I was like, I'm going to definitely process this, because it was a lot to take in from what happened in that movie. So I was like, I need to do this at home. And so went home, and I was like, okay, like, this is an answered prayer, but not in the way that I want it. So, like, what do you want me to learn from this? And I felt like, God said, are you still going to embrace this role as if it was a series regular role? And I was like, yeah. And I had so much fun filming that, and honestly, it was just like, yes, like sometimes God will answer prayers in a different way than we expect, but it's up to us to really like show up and really represent him,
Definitely. Exactly.
And it was just a lot of fun. And then after that, I ended up So basically, the other thing that happened, I don't know why I'm saying this, but like, I guess I wasn't like being confident in myself when it came to auditions because I was getting auditions left and right.
It's just normal.
I think that I was dealing with like being inferior.
Right.
I think. And I love my twin, but she had booked 2 things prior to me, and I kind of felt small. And so anytime I auditioned, I played small. And then I had a reality check, and it's just like, it was like God was giving me all these auditions, and here I am playing small.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I'm really just setting myself back by not
When you say playing small, was it more like you were kind of like dimming your own light?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And also, because like even when I rehearsed it, I was all me.
Got it.
Then when it came time, when the camera started rolling, I was just like,
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I had to, yeah. And so once I shifted my mindset, then I started to see like, okay, now I'm starting to like book other things. And it wasn't just acting, it was just like, like partnerships too,
Right.
So yeah, it took a while. I was holding myself back for a while, but now it's just like, I'm no longer going to waste time doing that,
You can't. You gotta go all in.
I mean, it's great that you were able to recognize that, and kind of change it. Like, where do you think that comes from? Like, just being able to kind of recognize your own flaws and being able to kind of look that in the eye and overcome it. Like, where does that come from?
Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah.
Honestly, I journal a lot, and sometimes we understand things like backwards. And so I'm just like, okay, like what am I doing wrong? And so I think at the end of each month, I always look at like, what I'm writing and stuff like that. And it was like, I wasn't like fully present during like certain things. I'm like, okay, like what is like the common denominator? And it was like, oh, I feel like I'm not capable of doing this because I haven't booked anything yet. Like my twin booked something before me,
right?
And so sometimes in this journey, again, I love my sister, but I felt like I was in her shadow a lot because I had so much adversity. It wasn't a straight path for me, and so I think in the back of my mind, I had that, with anything that I did, even because we're each other's readers, and so. Anytime that she read, the lines for me, I felt small because I'm like, she's still more successful than me.
Yeah.
And so, ironically, the auditions that I started to get after that shift, it was stuff that I didn't need a reader for, or like if it's something big, I go to someone else because I feel like I perform better.
Right.
Yeah.
But like even recently, like I think it was last week, we had an audition. I had an audition for, I forget what it was, but I felt like, okay, like I'm not going to play small, and I wasn't. You know what I mean? But yeah, it took a while for me to realize that, and so. I think journaling is just so beneficial because just like you see patterns and it's just like, okay, this is what's happening. How can I change this moving forward?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I would assume a lot of actors kind of go through that, especially if you're out here with somebody and you guys are trying to get it together.
Yeah.
One person kind of takes off, the other one's
especially your
little
twin.
Yeah, and we live in the same house. You can't escape it. Yeah.
Right.
But
same
like,
identity, same
She's
everything.
in a room like, yeah, I got it.
that part. Yeah.
Did I get it?
yeah, it's true. And honestly, I there was a season where like I felt like I was being tested because like when she booked her role on Family Reunion, I didn't handle it right. I did not handle it right. I was just like, why? Why did you do that? Why did you answer that prayer before me? But I was being tested because it's just like, okay, like, at the end of the day, it was like, here I am being upset with something that God opened for her.
Right. Did you guys both get the same audition? Was it that same role?
Her. It was just
okay,
her.
got
and
it.
What's crazy
Okay.
is when she had that audition, I knew that she was going to book it. So technically, I should have been preparing myself.
Yeah.
And when she booked it, I just handled it immaturely.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I felt like, dang, I'm taking these classes, acting classes and stuff, and she wasn't at the time. And I was just like, how did she, what? And so then when she booked another role, I was like, we both had the same audition. It's very rare that we have the same audition.
Right.
Okay.
And we both filmed each other, and then she ended up getting a call back. And I had she was like, "Oh my gosh, I got a call back." I was in her room, and then I had a gnawing feeling in my throat, and I felt like it was the Holy Spirit saying, "You need to think before you talk."
Right.
And I was just like, okay, I need to process the fact that it's
Take
ended
a
road
step
for
back.
me.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to say congratulations. Congratulations on getting a callback.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I was like, okay, now let me help you with this. So, because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I still need to help her with the callback.
Yeah.
And then she booked it, and I handled it much more better than
Good.
I did the first time around.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, it was just like, sometimes like, even in that moment, like my grandma had said, I was looking defeat in the face because that's what it was, but she deserved that role.
Yeah,
I love that you can be honest.
Yeah, and also like I'm at a point where I'm just like, what's for me is what's for me, what's for her is what's for her. But at the end of the day, it's a win for both.
Yeah.
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 I mean, it's definitely a win for the family. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like you have to celebrate each other. You know what I'm saying? Because nothing good is going to come from, not being happy for somebody. Like I remember this one thing when Kobe was I think he was a rookie or maybe like his first or second year. He got voted into the All-Star game. And, you had Nick Van Exel and Eddie Jones on the team. And, they're perennial All-Stars in their own right, but they didn't get voted in. Everybody voted in Kobe. And I don't know why I remember this, but it always stuck with me. The reporter asked both of them, he was like, how do you feel about that? Like, how do you feel about Kobe? He's on the bench and he gets voted into the All-Star game. And Eddie Jones was like, you happy for him?
Yeah.
You're just happy for him. You know what I'm saying? It's great for that kid to come out here and do his thing. And, people love him and respect him and want him in the All-Star.
Yeah.
Like, it's beautiful. And I was like, because in my mind, I was like, oh, he about to cuss somebody out. You know what I'm saying? I'm young, but that just always stuck with me. Like,
it opened your eyes.
Celebrate those wins. Be happy for people.
Yeah.
Because it does nothing for them or for you to be upset or be jealous or be angry about, the whole situation.
That's how you get your blessings, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You got to celebrate all wins.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Kudos to you.
You're right.
For that out, man. That's dope. That's super dope. So I have a hard question for you. I'm gonna get a little personal. Don't slap me. Okay.
I'm kind of scared.
I've never done this before. DC or Marvel?
Oh, that's so funny. You know what?
Good.
I don't discriminate when it comes to universes. I like them both. However, for two different reasons.
You cannot ride the fence on this question. I won't let you. I won't let you.
It's a toughie.
Figure it out.
Because when it comes to films and television, Marvel is killing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my character is Wonder Woman, and she's part of DC.
Okay.
So I will have to say DC if I had to really choose.
Wow.
Solely because
That's
of my
big.
character.
Right.
Part of that.
Right.
Sweet. Now, when you say Wonder Woman is your character, like that's like the persona you take on, or what is that?
Yeah. So testing 1 2 testing 1 2.
1 2 3.
Yep, we can hear you.
I would say because my twin and I think the first thing that we watched was Batman Returns.
Okay.
And there was just a lot of similarities with what we were going through at the time and superheroes. Like they were always saving someone, and we felt like we were always saving certain people in our lives. And so there was just so many parallels, and we're just like, wow, like we can really relate to these characters. And so once we started to dive in, we realized, oh, wow, there's a whole universe. And the person that I resonated most with or inspired to be like was Wonder Woman. I love what she represents. And so, if you go to our house, it's called the Justice Twins headquarters, but it's literally it pays homage to DC and Marvel.
I was just about to ask you about the Justice Twins.
Yes, and then my whole room is just like a homage to Wonder Woman. She's just inspired my life greatly. A great role model, Yeah, and so I will always have black hair because of Wonder Woman. Secondly would be, just Wonder Woman. I'm gonna say Wonder Woman.
I love it.
So is it? I mean, like comic book Wonder Woman or the movie Wonder Woman?
Yeah,
or
both. Yeah, comic book. The TV series with Linda Carter, Gal Gadot.
wow.
She was fantastic. And it's just been a positive influence in my life, just being obsessed with superheroes. Because we really didn't get into, actually, we've never gotten into anything that we shouldn't have gotten into. And I feel like our distraction was being immersed in the superhero or comic book culture, I think it's a healthy obsession to have.
Yeah.
But it's a part of who we are. I can't picture my life without being obsessed, or not obsessed, but I can't picture my life without having superheroes be an influence.
Right. So do you get these special invites to Comic-Con and all those?
Oh, yeah. So because, I mean, honestly, it's just because of, social media.
Yeah.
You know, and also like, you know, Shanice's connections, but also like what we post on social media. Like our content is pretty much like if we're not posting about Marvel and DC, it's like hip hop, like old school hip hop.
Yep.
Right.
And so it's kind of like they see the consistency, and so that's why they're just like, you know, we're going to invite them to these things because like they're actual fans. You know, they're excited about it.
Exactly.
You know, and it's just like us just staying true to who we are.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the bulk of all the opportunities that we've gotten is just us being true to who we are.
Right.
Dope. So the Justice Twins. What's the goal for the Justice Twins?
Yeah.
Is it kind of like
Tell
something you do on the
us.
side, or is it like
the Justice
something you're
Twins.
really pursuing?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've had the Justice Twins. I think it was established in middle school. You know, and then the Justice Twins. Individually, we are Wonder Woman and Supergirl, but together we are the Justice Twins.
Wow.
And in middle school, like all of our friends had like superhero names.
Yeah.
And we made our first appearance in like it was maybe a performance. I forget. The Arch Assembly. We did a performance together, and that was like our first unofficial debut. And you know, ever since then, we've just called ourselves that. And it wasn't until my friend, his name is Drew. He's just amazing. He was like, you know, is there any project that you want to bring to life? And I was like, oh my gosh, the Justice Twins, because like here we've been talking about it for years.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's no visual, you know. And so he was basically the catalyst to help us like bring that vision to life. And and then after we did that, it was like we had this opportunity to be at Comic-Con, and we're like, who better to show up as than the Justice Twins?
Right.
So it was kind of like we were testing out the market to see how people would like it.
Right.
And it was like beyond what we could have imagined. Like people were like, oh, taking photos. Like we couldn't go anywhere without people like stopping us.
Were you guys like the host also?
We were, so we were doing it for Access Hollywood.
Okay.
And we literally, that whole day, it was just a blessing because like we interviewed like all the superheroes who were there.
That's so cool.
And they were just like, just in awe of like our characters and stuff. Oh, where can we watch this stuff like that? And we're just like, okay, this is the market to test it on because this is our community, the superhero or the comic nerd community. And so it was received well. And it was just like, okay, like now this could be a potential show or a movie. You know, we've always seen it as a movie. Like I see it as it being a part of Universal or something.
Yeah.
But
it's gonna happen.
Like, in due time. But that was the thing. Like we were talking about it all the time, but we had no visual. And like Drew, he was the cast that brought that vision to life. And then also like Starlin, his name is Sammy, he made the outfits. Like we sketched it out, he made the outfits. And it was just like a group effort.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was a great team that put it together.
That's awesome.
Wow.
That's sweet. Y'all better get creative.
I'm telling you,
out
Shanae.
here.
Shanae does it all. Shanae and Shanice. Shout out to Shanice Cole. We love you.
Now
twin.
we have popcorn, but you've also brought
Girl Scout.
Girl Scout.
Mittens.
Yes. We did a video with her daughter. It was so silly, but thank you again for allowing her to do that. But it was about Girl Scout cookies because Shanice and I, we love cookies.
It was.
Okay.
Like I think every other day we're eating cookies, which is kind of bad. But so anyways.
I used to live that life too, so don't be
our jam, like anytime we see Girl Scout, like whenever it's Girl Scout season, like we're all about it. And so I brought these for you guys.
Aw, let's open it right now.
Oh
I mean, we all can have a cookie.
Yes.
Shanae, you can have a cookie too.
Appreciate it.
Just take them away from you like that without you giving you one.
So 2023, where do you see yourself at the end of 2023?
Thank you kindly. At the end of 2023.
Like, what's the goal? I mean, I don't know. Do you do goals for like the year?
Yes. I do goals for the year and goals for the month.
Okay.
And it's just funny because I was like, I'm going to do this in January. And then nothing was achieved in January. And I was like, I'm going to do this in February. Today's the 18th.
It happens.
Yeah. And so like anytime I don't achieve something, I push it to the next month.
Yeah.
But like, I do, one thing I love to do is obviously create content, And so I really, like towards the last couple months of the year, I was doing these campaigns and these partnerships. One was with Lexus and Marvel, and then the other one was
I saw that.
Yeah, and it was a lot of fun. And I was just like, wow, I really like this. I feel like I thrive doing that type of stuff. And so, like, I do want to do, like, another campaign. Because, again, like, I'm grateful for my job, but, like, I still, like, I'm a storyteller. I love creating.
Right.
And then also, like, putting out, more videos of my twin. Like, the MC Hammer one was a couple months ago. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, we need to put another one out. Yeah, because we were very consistent with it during the pandemic, but then once the world opened up, we kind of, like, stopped.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and so, like, I do want to get back to, like, being consistent with those videos, and then obviously still moving forward with, like, pitching our show and doing that. So, like, there's a number of things that are happening, like, a lot of things that are brewing. But, yeah, I always try to, because I'm pretty sure you guys know, like, no week is the same. Like, you could start the week doing something, and then here you have auditions or, like, opportunities and stuff.
Yep,
and
things change so fast.
Yes, and so, like I always try to have like at least 1 or 2 goals like each month that I want to achieve. Like I feel like, okay, this is achievable. But like even this month, I've realized like this potentially, I could be wrong, but I feel like this is a month of just being fully present, like with my friends,
Right.
You know, because I'm just like, okay, clearly, like I'm like hanging out with a lot more friends this month, and it's like the last 4 months of the year, I really didn't get the opportunity to do that because there were just so many like projects I was doing,
Right.
and it's just like sometimes like God wants us to slow down,
Yeah.
and to also like be nourished, and then sow into the relationships that you already have, because the next season might be a lot, you know, a lot, like just nonstop opportunities.
Right.
And so I'm grateful like for this month
Right.
of just like being chill and being fully present with the people
Yeah.
in my life. Yeah.
That's
What's
beautiful.
up, man? That's awesome, man.
And you had a chance to come and, hang with us today.
Yes, this is honestly like this made my entire week.
Aww.
You know, you guys are a well-oiled machine, and just the fact that you guys started off with the spirit of excellence is truly admirable. So I applaud you both.
Aw. Look at Mash.
I mean, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
You know, we're a small team, man.
Yeah.
We're getting it together. But we have made it to episode 7.
Hey, 7, 8.
You know what I mean?
Episode
With the
7.
great Shanae Cole. I mean,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I feel like Drake right now. Just I could sit on top of a stratosphere with my legs dangling.
Yeah.
But nah, Shanae Cole, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Shanae.
Thank you so much for being here. If the people want to follow you, you need to follow her. People want to follow you, want to get in contact with you, try to book you for something. Where can they reach you?
Yeah, my main jam is Instagram. At It's Wanda Woman. That's my main jam. And then we have a shared TikTok, me and Shanice,
Okay.
the Cole Twins 1.
Okay.
And then we do have a YouTube. We haven't been consistent with posting stuff on there, so we need to get better at that.
Okay.
But yeah, my main jam is Instagram.
Instagram, TikTok.
Nice.
All right. I mean, you putting up more dance videos soon, or what,
yeah.
what we doing right now?
Yeah, what are we working on?
What are we working on? I would say, I'm working on a pilot with a friend at the end of this month. That films at the end of this month, which I'm really excited about.
Awesome.
And then, obviously auditions and stuff like that. And,
For the pilot, what are you doing? Are you producing, directing? What are you doing?
I'm acting in it.
You're acting in it. That is big.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
Congratulations.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. She's just fantastic. Like, she's truly a genius, a creative genius.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm doing it at the end of this month. And I like one thing I'm working on or would like to achieve, I'm just saying it right now because it's a goal of mine, is to do something with the Kids' Choice Awards, because like
Nice.
I love Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
And because of the pandemic, I've gone to the award show, I worked the award show at one point.
Okay.
And I was like, the next time I come here, I want to be like a talent or create content.
Right.
I feel like we're not a talent yet to be walking the carpet, So I would love to create content for the Kids' Choice Awards. And
Wow.
I want to be involved in some capacity.
Yeah.
And so this whole week I was like trying to figure out, okay, what creative could I do? What creative could I pitch to them?
Right.
If it's in God's will for me to be there, I'll be there or create content for it. But
Yeah.
that's something that I'm like, that's on my radar because it's like in 2 weeks,
Yeah. Where's the Kids' Choice Awards at?
I don't, normally they have a Barker Hanger. I'm pronouncing
Oh,
it
okay,
wrong,
Barker
maybe.
Hanger. Yeah.
Yeah.
I worked
And
there.
so, I mean, the world is open. So it's just like,
Yeah.
if I'm able to be there, cool. If not, that's fine. But like, there's so many movies coming out in March. Like Shazam is coming out. Creed is coming out. There's so many.
Yeah.
And so like, I do want to be a part of the Shazam rollout in some capacity.
Dope.
Yeah. So that's like short-term goals.
So you and your sister, you guys have a relationship with DC where they call you out to premieres, or like how does that work?
So with DC, my sister, she's interviewed a lot of people from DC through Access Hollywood, and also like she has a great relationship with them. But like my relationship with them is like on the, I wouldn't say influencer, but content creation.
Okay.
Because they reached out to me to do like, I did something with them in December,
Okay.
and so like if they reach out to me again to do something for Shazam, I'm all for it,
Right.
Right.
So it's interesting because like her jam is doing the interviews, like interviewing the celebrities, and my jam is like I would rather like create content. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I don't mind interviewing people, but like that's also another skill set. Like you guys have the grace to do that. Like me, I'm just like, if I gotta do it, I'll do it. But like if I had to choose between creating content for like a movie, I would choose create content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
That's your thing.
Yeah, that's my thing. Yeah.
Okay. Dope. That's awesome. Well, I mean, it was a pleasure.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you for making the trip.
Thank you for having me. This is so fun.
Awesome. I mean, it was awesome to have you here.
Yes.
Look, this is episode 7.
Episode 7.
It's been a great one. I don't know what to say. I mean, just all the information that you've given, your whole story and everything, man, it's just awesome.
Inspiring.
It's inspiring. I hope you guys take something away from it. I definitely took something away from it. So this is Beyond Take 2 podcast, brought to you by Beyond Hollywood International Film Festival. I'm your host, Madge.
And I am your host, Veronica.
And we just finished up episode 7 with Shanae Cole.
Yes.
And, thank you again for being here. And we will see you guys next week. Thank you for tuning in.
Hey.
Beyond Take 2. Beyond Take 2.
Beyond Take 2. Take a walk beyond Hollywood. Beyond the lights, camera, action. Is the hard work and passion. Beyond Take 2. Take a walk beyond Hollywood. Beyond the lights, camera, action. Is the hard work and passion.